What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. I've been slacking on making this video for you guys, but as you know, we are focused on achieving the maximum potential in the bull run. And to do that, it means you have to be very selective on what you can buy. So this is part 2 in my series of the crypto 2024-2025 narrative. Last time we talked about meme coins. This time we're talking about layer ones. So before we get into this, as always, if you don't mind, because these videos typically won't get as many views, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow me in all tech, and just remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Check me out on the bank. And if you want extra coaching, guidance, and support, we got the Web3 Secret Society, or you can schedule a video private call just to make sure that you are in the best spot ever for the upcoming bull run. So when we take a look at the overall cryptocurrency market as a whole, one thing becomes very clear. There's just more coins, more tokens out there than you can ever stay on top of. And in my coaching practice, what I normally find is a lot of people with a lot of tokens. In fact, this is sort of representative of what I see. Yes, we're moving away from Bitcoin as the only thing we invest in, but then we see people who just have endless bags of random tokens without any sort of cohesive strategy. They just want to have exposure in everything. And that means buying coins 1 through 100, 1 through 500. The cryptocurrency market would be so different if people said, instead of that, imagine you actually had to hoard this stuff in real life. For every bag you bought, you had to store this in your home. People will be a lot more selective. But because there's so much FOMO and people just don't know what to buy, people don't want to miss out. So they buy everything. And the problem with buying everything is not everything's going to do well. Yes, some things may double, triple, whatever. But if you're just looking for a double or a triple, you can just buy SOL. Let's just be honest here. What you want to do is make sure that whatever you're buying will outperform your benchmarks. If it's not beating SOL, if it's not beating ETH, and if it's not beating Bitcoin, why would you even buy it? Because the risk is so much higher. So as I said, the last time I made this video, which I've linked in the description below, we did meme coins, and we did this following the talk in Token 2049, talking about Murad's talk for meme coins, my approach, the way I saw all of this fitting, and why I thought it was the #1 narrative in this upcoming bull market. Because what we typically see is whatever had a lot of momentum in the first part of the cycle will have a lot of momentum in the second part of the cycle. One thing that is not as clear to many people is that layer ones are the second best narrative to look at. Now, there are some other narratives, and I'm going to make more videos, so it's not just these two. Please don't get upset. I know many of you might be wondering, what about AI? What about real world assets? What about gaming? They're coming, don't worry. But the reason I bring this up is layer ones and the narrative around what the next big layer one will be is typically something that you see play out throughout the bull run. Last bull run, it became very clear very fast to many people that SOL was the undisputed champion, right? Solana rose above everything else. And while a lot of layer ones did see some play, you know, there are some crowd favorites like Cardano, XRP, whatever, right? I think XRP went to like $2 or $3. Cardano went to $3. We saw BNB go to like 300 or 400. We saw Avalanche go to like 150. Doesn't matter. What was the biggest growth? And at one point, I think SOL was around $1 or maybe even less than that last cycle. So people are always looking for, what is that new layer one? Because guess what? When we take a look at Bitcoin, ETH, and SOL, the market caps are so massive, right? You're looking at a market cap of 300 million for Ethereum, basically 1.35 or 1.4 billion, 1.4 trillion, for Bitcoin, and 78 million for Sol. You're just not going to be able to get that high of a growth from those narrative runners. So what does that look like? Well, the first thing you can do is you can go to coinranking.com and check out their layer 1 list. You see tons of things that you probably recognize, right? XRP, Doge, Tron, Cardano, Toncoin, Avalanche, etc. Now, what I've done is I've shortlisted the ones that I think are the true layer 1 contenders for this cycle. In my opinion, there are 6. If you don't see your token here, don't get upset. This is my opinion. You may be a Cardano maxi, you may be an XRP maxi, maybe you're a Cosmos maxi. Doesn't matter. What I'm looking at is I am taking account of specific layer 1s that have potential, which obviously a lot of them have potential, unique selling cases, and then I'm going to go through some examples of what I look for. But just to sort of get you guys familiar with what I'm looking at, Aptos, sort of this blockchain network, they're doing their second year of Aptos right now. It doesn't really have too much difference. Obviously, like this was a blockchain that was built by Meta, both Aptos and Sui were. And what's happened is, it was somewhat forgotten. They've been building infrastructure on there, adding liquidity and everything. This is something that people are now looking at. There's tons of things on use cases. But once again, this is not sort of unique to Aptos. But Aptos is something that is top of mind right now. And you really can't beat top of mind. Another one that has seen a lot of top of mind is Sui. Sui, because of its very fast finality, right? It's probably the fastest blockchain that I've ever used. And if you even take a look and you do the comparison, you can see, and I'm not going to go through all the details here, but exactly how they differentiate themselves from other blockchains. Okay, so I'll leave the link there for you to go through. I'm not really going to nerd out over here. Another one is Sonic or Phantom. Phantom is being rebranded as Sonic, and it's going to sort of get a lot of app development and sort of building that powerful infrastructure. So this is something else that is top of mind once again. Then we have Kaspa. Kaspa has seen a big retracement in the last few weeks to a month, and it's a very different sort of chain block DAG, but it's still a sort of fully scalable layer 1 that answers the trilemma according to what the Kaspa maxis will tell you. That being said, I minted KRC20s and I saw that didn't look as scalable as they thought, but we know that they are going to be expanding the number of blocks that can be done in parallel. So perhaps we will see this become more of a fruition. Another one is Say, which is sort of the fast parallel blockchain. Love the website. Once again, there's a lot of people talking about it. It's top of mind. And finally, we have Telegram, which is sort of the open network. So this is sort of using that almost 1 billion community that already uses Telegram, but sort of now getting them on the blockchain. Now, these by no means are the only layer 1s. These are the ones I'm looking at. And if you look at them, let's just take a look at some of the market caps. We got 12 billion for ton. If we look at Sui, we got 5.4 billion. 4.5 for Aptos. We got 2.8 for Kaspa. Kaspa has somewhat retraced. I can't remember if the other one. Oh, here we go. Phantom, 1.7 billion. So what you have to realize is when Bitcoin goes to price discovery, right? Bitcoin probably goes to like $100,000 to $150,000 a cycle. Liquidity starts flowing downwards. Imagine you take like 100 billion and you put that into I guess maybe not 100 billion. Let's sort of match Solana's current market cap. Let's do 75 billion. You put that, if that becomes Phantom, that's easily over a 50x. If that becomes, where is it, like Sui? I think Sui's up here, right? That becomes a 25. No, not 25x. This becomes a 15x. So there is a lot of growth potential, and this is why it's so important to do your own due diligence on figuring out what you believe will be the next big layer one. The way I'm playing this and sort of the way I'm looking at this is having exposure in all of them. I know I exited a ton. I'm still looking for a good point to re-entry. I have positions in all of them, smaller in Aptos, but I will be sort of adding to that as well. And basically betting on these six. Now, the reason I'm picking these six, what I look for is I want something that's relatively new. People probably wondering, wait, why didn't you pick Cardano or XRP? Well, a couple things. Number one, they're not new. They've been around for so long, they really haven't done much. In fact, I would venture to say that Cardano and XRP continue to fall behind with all the new innovation. Like Cardano used to be in the top 10 and it's been shoved out by Tron and Toncoin, right? Yes, it's close to being back in the top 10, but we haven't really seen any sort of growth here, right? So there is a sort of overhang, and there are people who are very like positive on Cardano. They can never explain why when I ask them, but you don't really see much of a move coming to these layer ones. So what you want to do is you want to go places where there's a positive narrative. What are influencers talking about, right? Yes, I know some people are getting paid to talk about these things because of KOLs, because of VCs. They want to get people buying some of these because of lockups. Looking at SUI, for example, the unlocking is tomorrow. It's not significant by any means. And we're in a bull run, so it doesn't matter as much. Obviously, it's different if we look at Celestia, which basically doubled its market cap a couple days ago because of unlocks. So if I look at Cardano again and sort of run this by it, not new. The narrative is positive only to the small cult they have. There's a lot of overhang and negative sentiment because it hasn't delivered. The volume is sort of just churning, right? There's not really much coming in. Yes, there's a strong community, but once again, you can't have just one of these things. But if I look at Aptos, Sui, Phantom, Cass, Say, and Ton, I'd say most of them, pretty much, they're all relatively new. Phantom is doing a rebrand as well. So there's a positive narrative across all of them. I'd say Ton was struggling for a bit there with the arrest of their CEO of Telegram. The Say token, Sui, Aptos, Phantom, and Cass, you'll see more positive than negative. It's not really the overhangs either because they're relatively new. We're seeing tons of volume coming in and strong communities. So if you look at this and you go, hey, I believe this has all these, then go for it. I'm looking at these six because I think out of these six, there will be one contender that comes out of it. And the beauty about this is you can make money even if none of these win. And the reason I say that is if the narrative is there, and that what will happen is the volume goes there. So you don't need them to win. You just need people to believe they will win. And then you cash out because a lot of these things will go up and we can't use every blockchain. Let's just be honest here, right? Like you see that Sol has picked up so much mind share because unlike Ethereum, you don't need to have money on every different chain. It makes it very easy to use. It's very top of mind when you want to buy NFTs or if you want to trade meme coins. So we're looking to see what else can join Solana now. And like I said, it could be one of these six. It might not be, but you win either way when you bet on layer ones because they will go up because people are looking, they're seeking for the contender. Now, beyond that, you can also find other edges. And that is, for example, you can take a look at on those platforms, what meme coins can be traded. One such example is THC on Phantom, or if you go on Tron, for example, which is not one that I believe in, there are tons of meme coins. In fact, they had like a 2-week season where people were buying Sundog. You saw like Crash talk about Bull or Tron Bull or whatever. And on top of that, not just meme coins, but there's also potential to earn airdrops because while everyone is fighting for airdrops within the EVM or Ethereum virtual machine and on Solana, if you try to farm airdrops on Aptos, if you try to farm airdrops on Sui, many people, for example, got a couple $1,000 for staking Sui a few weeks ago, right? They exist on these chains, and they are not just on these chains, they're on all the layer ones. So whichever layer ones you are interested in, make sure that you don't try to capture everything. Try to be sort of expert on a few rather than knowing nothing but having like small like understandings of others, because then you can truly capitalize on this. And that's really what I want you guys to take away. Regardless of what you believe is the strong layer ones, you should be figuring out in your portfolio what your layer one bet or bets are, and then make sure you're in the trenches looking at the meme coins and the airdrops in those ecosystems, because I'm telling you, the competition will really not be there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and next time what I'm going to do is talk about AI. I'm going to give you some examples of some of the AI coins that I'm investing in that I think are good. But if you did like this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it, because if I'm not talking about specific airdrops or specific crypto news events, you don't really get that many views. And I'm trying to sort of straddle that line between entertainment and education, so you guys get something that you can use and action on today. And before I go, I just want to remind you all, if you're sort of like, hey, all of this is so confusing, I don't know what to do, I need some help, the bull run is literally around the corner, well, my recommendation is check out the two services. The links are in the description below. You can join a community where we share sort of exactly what the portfolio breakdowns look like and sort of the rationale, regular sort of community hours, or called office hours, or you can schedule a private call, which some people choose to do instead, where they put together sort of what they're doing, and they're looking for support and guidance just so they have the right plan to execute on. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.